And they truly do believe that what they're teaching is going to save somebody's life. When did the founders use this art and what kind of environment they were in? Violent altercation is brutal. It's unpredictable. It's just pure chaos is going to go on during the engagement. Hey guys, thank you for checking out our video today. Like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the bell so you can be notified every time we get a new video. Today we're going to be covering why do traditional martial arts have problems in street fights and what has changed. Let's get started. One thing I have to first off saying is I started off doing traditional martial arts and I still love traditional martial arts. What do I mean by traditional martial arts? For instance, Shaolin Kung Fu or traditional Japanese Jiu-Jitsu or Taekwondo or, so on and so forth. So many different ones. One of the things that you have to remember is in our day and age, things are changing. And now, right now, in the past 70 years, things have been changing tremendously. And we have to be able to constantly evolve with it. And with all our technology comes more knowledge about fighting, and the evolution of our fighting is changing so much faster. If you pay attention to, for instance, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and how it has evolved so much, or boxing and how much it's changed, Muhammad Ali to Mike Tyson to Floyd Mayweather. Things have changed so much. They've changed. So we have to be able to change with that times. So as a traditional martial artist myself, one thing that I always say to people, I go, why are you doing martial arts? Okay. There's three main reasons why you would do martial arts. Four maybe. There's four main reasons why you would do traditional martial arts or any kind of martial art at all. One is for the culture and being able to learn something, for instance, Iaido, learning the way to draw the sword. It's really cool to learn that culture, to learn, all the things. There's a meditation to it. Maybe you do it because you love Japanese culture, or maybe you do Kung Fu because you love Chinese culture. Whatever the case may be, whatever tradition it is, maybe you like German style broadsword, maybe you like saber, even though we don't fight with sabers anymore, that's not the point. The point is that you love it. Another reason may be for health benefits. You're trying to stay fit, okay? You may be doing it for meditation, being able to be a part of a group, be able to develop and be a better person over time. Martial arts can help you do that. Then the other one would be self-defense. Self-defense is the idea of it is that maybe you've been attacked, or maybe a family member has been attacked and you're like, what do I do? How am I going to deal with a situation if it comes my way? What do I do during a violent altercation if somebody comes at me with a knife, or somebody invades my home, okay, or somebody attacks me on the street to try to steal my wallet, for instance? Those are very, very valid things. And then finally, people that want to be athletes and they want to go and be in competition and win trophies. And so there's different reasons why people do martial arts, okay? That's the first thing. You have to figure out what it is that you want to do and why are you doing it. So I start with that first because I feel like some people go into a martial arts style and the teacher really believes in what they're doing. And they truly do believe that what they're teaching is going to save somebody's life. In some cases, that may be true. But in other cases, some of the things that they may be teaching are very invalid, okay? They are not effective. They haven't been battle tested maybe for 100 years or 50 years, and things have changed. People are more educated now, okay? So that is something that I want to keep in mind. I want you to understand this going in. It's not that I hate traditional martial arts. I love traditional martial arts. I practice Qigong and Tai Chi. I like to do Kenjutsu and Iaido. I like practicing drawing with a sword. Not because I think I'm going to engage somebody someday with a katana in the middle of the street. No, I'm doing it because I love martial arts. I love all sorts of styles of martial arts. And I believe that that is okay. But don't go into the situation believing that this is going to help me with a violent altercation, or I'm going to learn this style, but I'm going to go in the MMA ring and think that I'm going to do well and be able to use these techniques. That's just not the case. Because every environment, if we're talking about sport or we're talking about a street altercation, those are two very, very different things. And you need to understand that. When it comes to traditional martial arts, we have to understand, we have to be first honest with ourselves about what that martial art is, what it was about. You need to learn, when was it? When did the founders use this art, and what kind of environment they were in when they used this art. So if we look at karate or kung fu, we look at these certain arts, they fought differently back then, okay? They had heavier feet. They didn't move around like you see two boxers or two MMA fighters fight each other. Their intent was to really hurt this other person, in many cases to kill that person. So these are very, very important principles that you need to take and really study. What am I doing and why am I doing it? If you're a martial art instructor, you need to ask yourself, why am I teaching this? Does this actually work? When's the last time I battle tested this and to see how effective it actually is against somebody that's contesting it? I'm not telling you this to hurt your feelings. I'm not telling you this to get you mad at me. I'm genuinely, I care, and I want to educate people because I've been doing martial arts since 1983. I have been in all different walks of life. I've trained from military combatives with special ops to civilians to law enforcement to kids, all those different types of walk. They all need different things, and depending on the person, and when you go in and you try to figure out what martial art you're doing, these are very important principles. So I want to start off by saying that martial arts, traditional martial arts, is based on situations that took place maybe 100 years ago, maybe 1,000 years ago. So that is a very important principle. If, for instance, and I'm going to just talk general today. I'm going to go through just some general ideas about what a lot of traditional martial arts, the way they stand. They stand with a wider stance. That's the first issue. They'll stand with a wider stance. When you stand with a wider stance, that means your mobility goes out the window, okay? When you have a wide stance. It's better to have a medium stance and be able to be light on your feet so you can have more mobility to be able to get from one place to another, to get in and out of situations quicker. Okay, that's the first thing when it comes to traditional martial arts. The other one is, how am I standing? Okay, my hips, if my hips are turned like this, okay, and my back hip and my back shoulder are away from you, I can't engage with both hands. Okay, this is a real issue I see with some martial art styles when it comes to actually fighting. Okay, when it comes to competition, there are people that are focused on points. Well, point fighting has nothing to do with reality when it comes to a street fight. Okay, the truth is that the violent altercation is brutal, it's unpredictable, and it is a pure chaos. It's just pure chaos is going to go on during the engagement. Okay, that is what violent altercation is. So you need to understand that. So another thing is our shoulders. Our shoulders need to be, we can be 45-degree angle, so I can strike with my lead, I can strike with my rear hand. This is a position that's better. I recommend having your hands up. I don't care what style you are. I don't care if you're used to the Wing Chun style or if you're doing some kind of karate style like this. None of that makes a difference to me. What makes a difference is I want to see traditional martial arts styles start to adopt some more modern approaches to fighting in today's world. Okay, doesn't mean you can't enjoy doing your katas. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy doing a lot of the traditional things that make the art so beautiful. I see that. I love that about martial arts. The other thing, so you want to have your hands up, okay? Either you can have a fighting style like this, or have your hands up like this. Even if you're like a karate man or a kung fu man, you want to have your hands, but your hands need to be up so you can engage the punches. Because we're not punching from the hips anymore. We're not doing this, okay? And a lot of martial arts styles, the reason why they punch from the hip is because, guess what? They had armor on, okay? And that armor was heavy. And so if they ended up, which hardly ever happened, and if it did, it was a very dangerous situation, they lost their weapon, they'd have to punch like this because they couldn't keep their hands up, okay? And both people had heavy arms, so they had to punch like this. And so that's where this comes from, doing these punches like this, because they had armor all along their arms and they can't stand like this. Nowadays, we have boxing, and I won't get into the history of boxing, but we now fight with our hands up like this, and we need to be able to engage. We need to stay engaged with our opponent so that, for instance, when him and I are going, you know, I need to be able to, if he throws a punch, I need to be able to deal with that. But he needs to be able to deal with those attacks, you see? And so we need to be able to have our hands up. We need to be able to engage the attack. We need to bring our hands back to where so these are kind of some basic ideas that some of your traditional people, you need to start thinking about. When you punch, you can punch open hand if you want, or you can punch if your hands are conditioned, you like to punch with your knuckles, you do so. But focus on, how do I do that? Tighten everything up, okay? The thing I want to really share with you today is I come from traditional martial arts, and I love a lot of the traditional martial arts, but you have to modify things when it comes to fighting, okay? And fighting against other people, all right? If your hands are down here and a boxer's got his hands up like this and they're punching, guess what? Their hands are going to get to you before your hands can come up to, number one, block, which isn't effective, okay? That's our next thing, is how do we deal with attacks? If you block, guess what? If he throws a punch and I block this, guess what? The next one's going to fire off. And eventually, even if you think you're going to do like an inside ridge block and you think you're going to be defensive, and eventually you're going to try to punch, whoever punches the most wins the most, okay? That is something that you need to keep in mind. And if you think you can defend against everything against blocks, think again, okay? I don't need to prove it to you. You have a boxer throw punches as fast as they can at you, you're going to have trouble dealing with that. You've got to be able to be more offensive and not so defensive where he throws a punch and then I'm trying to throw a punch here. If he's throwing punches, I'm not going to be able to block him all the time, and I'm not going to be able to counterattack with that structure anymore. And the reason why is because it's like you're trying to compare an old Ford, one of the first Fords ever built, and then you have a Lamborghini, and you put those two up against each other. One is from a totally different period, okay? It's just like comparing the first IBM computer to a computer now. It's just, there's no comparison when it comes to some of these things. So keep that in mind. It's not that some of the tools don't work, because for instance, a front kick or a side kick, there's certain things that can be used at the right time, okay? But we have to modify things over time, okay? So you need to start to work on slipping and bobbing and weaving. And the reason why is not because I want you to become, throw away your old traditional martial arts, but you have to be able to adopt some modern things to stay updated in today's world, okay? So anyways, if you have any questions, please comment down below. I hope this comes to you in a positive manner. I'm really trying to show you how respectful I am of where you come from, because I come from that same area, but I realized I had to change my ways. I had to see things differently. And so I hope you have a great day today, and hey, keep training and evolve. Check out some of my other videos about, I have a video on body evasions, hand defenses, and footwork, all that kind of stuff. Those things will help you to adopt yours a little bit. Enjoy your katas, enjoy your forms, enjoy the culture that you love so much. I'm not saying to throw away any of that stuff, but when it comes to self-defense and altercations out in the street, we want you to be safe and I want you to be able to continue doing what you're doing. Have a wonderful day. Hey guys, thank you for checking out our video today. Comment down below if you have any questions about what we covered today. Go to our website, pinnaclecombatarts.com. And thank you so much for your support. Have a great day.